Hey guys, it's Screamods here today with another tutorial for DMB Academy. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. We really do appreciate the support. Today I want to show you how to basically remaster or add some newer flavors to jungle breaks, and how I would go about keeping kind of a little bit of the nostalgic sound of it, but at the same time upscaling it a little bit to fit modern productions and modern DJ sets a bit better. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the one, and let's dive right into it. Here I'm having the classic aim and break right here. So this sounds just like the aim and break. It's sped up to 175. I slowed it down to 174 again. So let's just consolidate that. That's the standard sound. Obviously it works perfectly still for transitions and stuff like that, but it just won't have power enough with modern drum bass tracks if you just put the aim and break. Except if you play a set that's just full of aim and breaks, then it's obviously still gonna work the same. But yeah, I want to show you how to upscale it. There's a few cool ways you can do that. You can, for example, use the transient function in Ableton and just make it very short and tight. That's a great starting point. For example, if you like the splashy sound, that's totally fine as well. We find solutions for both. First, what happens here is this is an old actual break, so it won't stand a chance against modern transients in a way, and they won't all hit the same all the time. Or I typed that in wrong. So you type in transient, I type in transient here. You can take whatever. I made a few transients in the past, so I can easily access them. A transient is basically a click of some sort. So you take a transient and you find where your snare is. Then you kinda add a little bit of a fade in front, so the transient has a bit of more space to breathe. And you can just copy that or do the same. You can already tell how it stands in the mix better. You can do the same here in the more splashy part. And that gives you a more aggressive sound, which I also really like, so I often leave the aim and break like this as well. But the effect is the same. You add the new transient and you already feel like the snare is just generally hitting more and it's more aggressive sounding. Then I would go for some hi-hats that are kind of more straight and more upfront. It kind of helps to glue the whole thing together. It's a bit harsh. You can do the same here. Now let's just compare that to the original break. Or like this. Or like this. So even if you just use that as a transition tool, now it will really stand up to the rest of your drums, and it will still will sound like jungle, but it will just sound a little bit more. It will stick out more, and therefore it will work better on the dance floor. And you can also go the middle ground, just tighten it up a little bit. So extreme, just transient and the extra head, and the middle ground. I think that really helps. And it also, ironically, it always helps me once I found the snare part. It really helps me to find different chopping things, because I use that as like a insight on where it is, because that's where the transient is. And then I can just do really quickly changes in groove like that. Oh, that didn't work. Give me a sec. I can just repeat it from there, for example. And then you get a cool different variation and different chop. And that way you can just chop way easier, which is a little side note. Yeah, and now there's a few other things you can do to enhance that. You can add some different samples. For example, you could go for snare acoustic. You could add, or actually, yeah, if you want to make it more Nero, for example, you could actually add a heavier snare. And you could use the transient of the heavier snare, of course, but in this case we already have a transient, so we're gonna fade it here so we don't interfere too much with our transient. Gonna add a heavier snare, and that way you can basically make it an even heavier loop while still maintaining the vibe of the aim and break, because it's still very prominent in the mix. I mean, that's an over-the-top loop, so I'd just do it like that. And then maybe repeat the kick. And then you could use a modern kick as well, because I feel like this kick doesn't really stand up to today's system. So just choose a kick, preferably an electronic one, because there's already acoustic kick under there. So, and that way I would do it the same way. I would just fade that original sample and then take out some of the rumble that's there, basically. This kick is very aggressive. Let's take a bit of a less aggressive kick here. And there it's ba-ba-bam. And if these kind of parts happen where there's a double kick, I always make sure to make the double kicks quieter than the main kick on the first, because that's also kind of how the drummer plays. First is doof, and the second one doof, doof, you know. So try to keep that in mind. And then make a little fade here. It's a bit of a pain, but go in, do the fades. And then just copy that over. Oops. Like that. Right now. Oh yeah, perfect. Copy that kick. And in that case, you kind of made a modern Nero jungle type of loop, but that's just one of the ways you can do that. And then you can still do some gluing, like we so often do. Now that's how it looks originally, by the way, but I prefer the simpler version. And now you made a really like thick break from that. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that technique and you can experiment with that. And don't forget to subscribe and like the video, leave a comment if you like it or you have some suggestions for videos. Hope you have a great day. Peace out.